All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett, as always. Matt's here. He's back. There he is. We have Chris here, and audio guy Jeff is actually going to talk today.
Hello.
So that's pretty rad. We're going to do a little Q&A today. We had some questions put in. Interesting one. We're going to start with our favorite restaurants in Omaha. So that's like really tricky because there's a lot of different... Like, do you break it up into categories?
It definitely depends on what you're in the mood for.
Yeah, and most people are proximity eaters.
100%.
Yeah, like I don't go east of 72nd, so that really limits me.
That's not true. We went to that.
And I don't go west of 48th. So
what's that Texas de Brazil restaurant?
So Texas de Brazil, for the price, was it $50?
I think so.
And then like $30 for just the salad bar? It's a pretty good price. You get a lot of food.
I think the salad bar is probably the best part about that place.
Yeah, that smoked salmon was killer.
Yeah.
But you could break that
There's
into groups.
salmon in the salad bar?
Yeah,
Yes.
smoked salmon. It was
there
super
was all
good too.
kinds of stuff in the salad bar.
Yeah, but for $50, you get unlimited meat. And they just kept walking to me. I was the first one at the table. They just walked right to me like I'm the fattest
Probably
kid at
because
the
you
table.
were sweating.
Yeah, except the wieners. They kept dodging us with the wieners.
I don't know.
Chris
what
and I
that-
kept trying to...
I'm like, hey, can I get a wiener?
Not the first time you said
Yeah,
that.
just a real fucking mouth filler.
And so
No,
Brett,
not the little one.
the
I want
guy,
the big
the guy comes over and Brett's like, "Why do they keep coming up to me? Is it because I'm fat?" And the guy's like looking at me like, "I can't believe he just said that." But yeah, that's why we keep coming over.
one. PHAT.
I had to wave down the wiener guy. The wiener guy wouldn't even come to our table.
By wave down, he means he just yelled with his mouth open.
Yeah, just held it open the whole time. You know what I want?
Get
Let's-
over here.
Best first date place. Like
Best
if you were-
first date
yeah.
place. Oh, man.
You don't want to spend too much, but you still want to get in the pants.
Okay, but how old are you on that? Like, are you a high school first date, or are you like an adult with a real job first
24.
date? I think Johnny's at Village Point.
I've been there 3 times and had shitty service every single time.
Dude, I've never had bad service at Johnny's.
I'm not a Johnny's fan either.
Man, I like Johnny.
Right.
Okay, well, that's mine. What's yours, Matt?
Oh, I don't know.
Will you fucking ask the question?
I know. To you guys, not for me.
All right, Jeff, this is your first time. You're live.
First date,
You're live being recorded.
I always focused on what we're like going to do something. I guess I don't know.
Like-
I don't know how to answer
like
that.
eat-
That's how you know he's not fat.
Yeah, Jeff was never fat. Obviously.
We're gonna go for a jog.
I never
When
had
I was fat,
dinner.
the first day I'd be like, I'd wake up and be like, man, I wonder what we're gonna have for dinner.
after every meal.
I was like, man,
And it's
Yeah.
breakfast
I
time.
can't wait till it's fucking dinner time so I can. Where are we gonna go for dinner?
24 first date. So you got a job at that point, probably. You're probably
Yeah.
done with school, working.
I mean, I think Stokes is a good option.
Stokes. That's all right.
Stokes seems really fancy, but it's
I think you
not
want more
that
like
bad.
an intimate location. What's that?
Like Bonefish.
maybe that
Bonefish-
mahogany restaurant.
Fuck
Mahogany's
that.
expensive,
It
dude.
is, well, it is, but it's like really like
It is, but for a
you know,
24-year-old,
Yeah, I guess.
Right. And again, you're just investing in, right? Like that's where you go for an anniversary because you're kind of committed.
Okay.
yeah, like you're paying for it at that point.
Man,
You guys
this is
are
a
pretty-
tough question.
I know. Matt still doesn't have one. This is.
I said Stokes. I
okay,
would
yeah.
go Stokes.
I think Stokes is a little more hustly, bustly kind of a restaurant, though. You know what I mean?
So you're thinking
it
like
seems
Applebee's or like
you know what I'm
Chili's?
saying? Like, no, I'm saying
Red Robin.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this is a good place. You can get an appetizer and the fries keep coming.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
endless and gets
yeah.
campfire sauce.
yeah. This is
All right.
I don't know.
So where are you going to go? So far, you just said no. You haven't.
I
Well, you know what? We'll come
well,
back. We'll come back to him.
yeah, we'll come
What
back.
about?
What Brett didn't pick a restaurant.
I did too.
Yeah, he did.
I
What'd
you
said
say?
Johnny's.
You said Johnny's.
Oh.
And
Johnny's
we're
at Village
like,
Point, not the other one. The Johnny's at Village Point.
Isn't the other Johnny's? Oh, the other Johnny's is there. What
Yeah.
was the one that went away? Anthony's.
Anthony's, yeah. Okay, what about best barbecue place in Omaha?
My house.
Okay, outside. Because I'll argue that it's my house.
Well, there's that Oklahoma Joe's
Because you haven't been to
in
my house yet.
Exarban, which is pretty good.
Joe's is pretty good for a chain barbecue.
Yes.
I always used to give Famous Dave's credit for being the best chain barbecue.
Will Smoke You is pretty good.
Will Smoke You is good.
I like Swine and Dine's brisket a lot. That's
Which one? The original one in Bellevue or the one in
Yeah, the
Dodge?
original one
I
in
heard the
Bellevue.
original one's the better one.
It was, yeah.
I feel like barbecue restaurants, and I'm not shitting on anybody personally, I feel like the longer they're open, their food's not as good.
That is true.
Because I feel like they're trying to keep up with the people because everybody hears it. You know, when they first open, then they get more people, and then their cooks are kind of like not the people cooking, but the cooks at the barbecue. they're trying to do too much stuff, and then they're trying to get better price points, and I think it kind of goes
Yeah.
down a little
Well,
bit.
my theory is that like the owner is going to have to delegate to other people eventually.
Yeah.
And-
Right.
And they have their hands less on
Yeah.
their pride and their joy. of
Unless
what
you have
they're
like
doing.
the single shop where a guy is the pit master, like just like you said.
Like right
you
now,
have
I
to-
think the best barbecue in Omaha is Smoking Barrels. Right now, as of, May 26th, 2023, Smoking Barrels Barbecue.
11:47 a.m.
Yeah,
Central
is
Standard.
the best. I think.
And where is that located?
Where's he? It's over by the Millard Airport. He's kind of buried. He used to just have a food truck, and
Is he
I've
the
never
guy that,
been there.
Like, is he the guy that'll like open up and just
Sell
he's
out and
open
then
until he's
Yeah.
he's gone?
I think I heard about this because he's only open till like 4 o'clock or something.
If even that, he opens at 11, I believe.
yeah,
I've never been there. People have brought it to me,
Right.
and it's super good. I think Porky Butts is good, but outside, I think the longer they get it, they're open. Just like Will Smoke You, I used to love Will Smoke You, but last time I was there, I feel like it wasn't as
On the
great as
level it
as
was.
great as it used to be. It's still really good.
Yeah.
Not shit on him, because if you're in Gretna, go to Will Smoke You. It's worth your time.
I wonder. It's got to be a high like infrastructure cost to do that. Like you think about the time it takes to do a brisket. However many briskets you want, if you're trying to be sure that you have brisket all day long, you
See-
have to do all that brisket 18 to 24 hours in advance. You start that shit because they cook it, they smoke it, they do that, and then they hold it for at least 12 hours.
That's why I think you stay with that guy's idea of we're open till the food's gone, so you don't make too much.
Right. So you're pulling stuff off, and then it's just hey, it is what it is.
You know who's trash, and I'll tell you, is Big Green Q.
Never been.
It's just 108th
It's a
and Q, right?
Oh, it's a food truck. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
in the 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have 2 Big Green Egg double XLs in their truck. They were at the zoo that one time we went, Matt. And so I asked him, I was like, oh, man, it's going to be really hot cooking in there. Oh, no, we cook everything at the beginning of the week.
Oh,
So the eggs
that's
are just for decoration.
Well, yeah, they cook at the beginning of the week on it. But I'm like, so your brisket's been just like,
chilling all week.
How long can you hold a brisket?
well, they probably do the sous vide. Like that's what Oklahoma Joe's does. They do a sous
Yeah.
vide.
Hmm.
But it was
There's a whole separate art for that, for like cooking something
Stuff
and
on-
cooling
stuff-
it and vacuum sealing it without just drying it out or like sucking all the moisture out.
The sous vide is
There's got to be FDA things with that too. I'd
the
imagine.
sous vide is a good thing though.
Yeah, but you can
Yeah,
like,
but
if
they-
you vacuum seal shit, like you can vacuum
Wasn't
seal
good.
and freeze it. Like same thing.
It
What's
wasn't.
that in Kansas City? Jack Stack.
Jack Stack's super good if you're in Kansas City. Jack Stack.
Yeah, we used to
Killer.
get like Christmas packages from that, and like all that stuff is vacuum sealed, and they always recommend to heat it up to sous vide. So you take like your vacuum seal bag, put it in your sous vide water or some boiling water, and like that's how you warm it up. Don't take it out of the package and warm it up that way.
See, I think Aaron Franklin, they ship theirs from out of Austin, and they tell you to put like a bunch of butter on top of it and stuff and put it back in the oven. I think.
I mean that would. I could see it in the sense like the butter would get in there and replace some of the fat and moisture that was gone, but I think that butter might take
But-
over the flavor.
Yeah, I don't know, but Franklin sells like 200 briskets a day at his
But I
restaurant.
honestly haven't been to a lot of barbecue places in Omaha.
So you're no help on this.
No, I did see a sign that Come and Go has brisket though.
I bet that's right up there.
I bet it's just
it-
a step up from like Sloppy Joe's.
Is it a brisket taquito?
They just said something about come get your brisket.
Is it on a roller?
I don't know. There
Any
were-
food off a roller is pretty legit.
There
I
were
don't think
two
Come and Go
smiling white
has
people by
rollers.
it.
I'm not sure.
They do because they
Rollers,
used to have
yeah.
the tornadoes on there. Theirs
Like
are
Come and Go?
tornadoes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm a QT person.
Because I used to
so-
go to the one out on
I always go to
144th
QT.
when they had a Quiznos in it. Nothing
We've
better
heard
than
about that.
Yeah. There's nothing
The
better than a
QT
restaurant in
adventures.
a gas station. You know it's going to be good.
I am becoming more and more addicted to Casey's Pizza.
Casey's
Oh,
Pizza is
breakfast
pretty
pizza
money.
is amazing.
The one with the sausage gravy on it.
Yes.
Dude, the Cubbies on 48th and 680.
It's east of 72nd.
I know.
Okay.
I'll just tell you about it because I know you won't go there. They do breakfast pizzas, but for the base, they do like the country sausage gravy.
Yeah.
Throw that shit down, and they just throw bacon. And they also started doing, rather than like your bacon, egg, cheese croissant thing, it's 2 little waffles for like the bread. Kind of like a McMuffin, but done with a waffle and probably a deep fryer in the back.
Hold on a second. You said the crust is a waffle?
Yeah, so like your sandwich.
Oh, you're talking about
sorry, the
sandwiches. We-
sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah, we
yeah,
jumped
the
to a
sandwich.
sandwich.
We moved on.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
excited.
I
Just
got
moved.
excited too for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah, fat kids get excited
That would
about
be fucking
sandwiches.
awesome
Yeah.
though. A breakfast pizza with the crust is a get the fuck
yeah,
out of here.
We kind of really fell off topic there.
So if the pizza at the 48th Street and I-680, is it a bigger slice or is it just a regular
It's like your
slice?
personal pizzas like this, but they do
Oh.
go all the way to the crust, so you don't get that bullshit stuff on the end. Like it's all the way.
Nice.
We definitely got off topic.
Yeah,
But
'cause
I mean,
we haven't really said what we think is our favorite restaurant in Omaha, but it's really hard.
it is very hard.
Omaha
I really like
has a ton of-
Saltgrass as like a
Saltgrass is good.
go-to place to get a steak, and
And that's a
decent-
chain, right?
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
It is a chain. Yes.
Saltgrass is solid.
Yeah.
Like I said, bonefish is good.
Bonefish is good. The Bang Bang shrimp.
Yeah. But it's hard. There's so many different categories.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
my wife and myself, it's like a special occasion. We're going Brother Sebastian's or Drover, typically.
The Drover's solid.
Mm.
I haven't been to Brother Sebastian's. So
I have been to Brother Sebastian's, and it is an interesting. That is
It's a-
kind
it's
of
a
an
weird place, but
It
it's
is kind of
good.
more of an yeah. It is good.
What would you say is like your most go-to? Because we all live. Chris and I live close to each other. Matt lives on the opposite side of town, and Jeff lives kind of in the middle of town.
Just
Yeah, like
just
110
south of
Q.
South Dakota.
Yeah. So
I think if we're all if I'm gonna call you for dinner, we're probably gonna most likely end up going to Saltgrass if we want to.
or Firebirds
Yeah, or Firebirds.
So
Firebirds is really good.
at
too.
Village Point. So
Yeah.
Isn't that in Grand Island?
No, it's a Village
Way
Point.
out there.
What about you,
Firebird?
Jeff? Because you're like 120th and Center, right?
Yeah.
What's your guys' go-to?
Again, it's down to category of food. I mean, we'll do like Maria's or Howard's a lot, and that's 13th and
Oh, man, you
Missouri
really venture
Ave.
out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
I
a
mean,
long drive.
But Maria's Mexican restaurant,
Yep.
the gravy taco.
Yeah. My wife.
Isn't there one in Ralston?
That's the only Maria's.
Okay, yeah.
Then Howard's is on 13th down there. And they're pretty good too. But yeah, it's those four restaurants, the Brother Sebastian's, Drover, or those two. That's
All right.
that's our go-tos.
That's not bad. I mean, it's good Mexican food. What about you, Matt?
If it's just me and Aaron, we're going to the Forgot store.
And just having bar food.
Yeah.
Like,
And then if we're going to meet someone, we're going to meet them at the Forgot store.
what if you're going to venture out from the Forgot store? You're going to go to sushi at Blue.
Yes.
I figured.
We go like happy hour, but I don't know. Like the last few times, like somehow we go over during happy hour and we still spend $120. Like, what the fuck happened?
It's
Happy
your-
hour at Forgot Store?
No, at Blue.
Oh,
Blue
yeah.
Sushi.
Well, that's pretty easy. Yeah.
Yeah, because that doesn't take much. Because
No.
I can never actually easily identify what those rolls are after they tell me. I've already forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just eat them because I know when I read about them they look good. And why can't they put like little labels next to them to tell you what
Like
they
a little
fucking
flag.
are?
Boop.
Yeah, and tell me what it is because I ordered it and I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to use
Yeah.
chopsticks, so stop giving them to me.
I use chopsticks, and I order the same thing every time. So
I use finger chopsticks.
that's the only reason why I know what's going on. Otherwise, I used to go to that when I was fatter. All you can eat sushi from
Okinawa
I can't think of the name of the restaurant.
The one downtown. Like
Yes.
Something
sushi.
Tokyo,
Was that sushi
No.
Ichiban?
I can't remember what the
something
name of it
Tokyo, Japan, something.
was.
Yeah, I know the one
it
you're
wasn't
talking about.
bad.
But
It's
now
not
if you-
bad.
but if you
it's
don't-
like
it wasn't.
between like a Blue or a really nice place and Hy-Vee.
But you have to pay for what you don't eat,
Is
right?
it Hero 88?
No.
No.
Yes,
no.
but obviously I'm not.
If you throw a bunch away,
I'm
but
not
like
a
if you just
quitter.
have like
Okay.
a piece of a roll.
Yeah,
like
they're not going to
gonna
get upset about that. But if you have a whole, then they're going to.
Yeah.
But you can order as much as you want. And
Yeah,
I
they just
never
bring it-
knew
it's
what
pretty
was.
good.
I never knew what was going on there. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Like you said, it looked good on paper. So
Yeah, once I
down.
read the description, I'm in. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
start shoveling it in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we kind of gave you, a little bit of everything there. Nothing real.
Nothing real
We didn't
helpful.
nail anything down.
Yeah,
but,
nothing real
you
ground.
know,
But Omaha,
Wings.
Omaha has so many restaurants.
Wings.
Best
that's
wings.
all there is to do here. We're in the Midwest.
The highest
Um,
restaurant per capita, at least top 10 in the country, I think.
Yeah, I mean restaurants.
Consecutively.
Yeah,
But did you
restaurants
say
and
what the
bars.
best wings are?
Yeah, like
gotta
if you
be
want
Oscars.
wings.
That's so hard.
Oscars?
Everybody hypes Oscars up, and then I went and had it, and it wasn't that great. But a lot of people like it, so I can't.
Wingstop's always got good wings.
Wingstop is always solid.
Yeah,
It's 'cause you like
but
Rick
Wingstop
Ross.
is a.
I
is
do
a
like
chain,
Rick Ross. Yeah.
But, yeah,
I like,
that's
but you know
fine.
what? I like Pizza West. I like their wings.
that's good. Yeah,
But wings are, I think, actually, and Hooters really has branched out on their wings. Like you can get smoked wings there now.
I mean you get wings at Skybox by my house, and they char buff them, so they double.
Yeah. So
Double
yeah, wings
fry
is a
'em.
tough one because there's so many of them.
Yeah, that's.
I like to make them on the green egg myself. So
I don't
Yeah,
have a green egg.
sorry we didn't
Matt,
give
do
you
you have
a-
a green egg?
I do not yet.
No.
I'm looking to get some kind of charcoal cooker.
just get a green egg. But yeah, sorry we didn't have more specifics, but there's just so many restaurants and so many proximal restaurants in Omaha.
Yeah, you could talk about this for hours.
Dude, there's so many hole in the wall restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds. I mean, small bars. Barrett's Barleycorn. Barrett's has great chicken Phillies. Reuben's. I mean,
Just don't park in the parking lot
yeah, you'll never get out.
and leave your Leave your valuables visible.
Yeah. Because well, you know why? Because you're east of 72nd. See, I fucking told you. I don't know fucking east of 70. You live in the country. That's different.
Yeah, we've had way fewer shootings than the rest of you.
That's probably true.
The only thing that's been shot in our area has been a donkey.
Why
we
did
shot that
somebody shoot a
birdhouse.
donkey?
We shot that.
Some dickheads came by and did a drive-by shooting on a fucking donkey.
Oh man! They
But you know what?
must not
That motherfucker's still out there.
Oh, they didn't get him.
No, he didn't kill him.
Oh.
Took 2 in the leg.
I've been hit with
hobbled
a
off.
few shells, but I'm all right.
Yeah, walk with a
Here's
limp.
what I'm walking on. All right, we have another question. It's kind of but we kind of decided to change it. The original question was top 5 powerlifters all time and current, but I think we kind of decided to put it to a combination of that, powerlifting kind of idols / heroes, and who's done a lot for the sport. What do you got, Matt?
I mean, obviously the one that comes to mind for the sport is just Louis. Like, Louis changed powerlifting. I think there's others who have come and gone and done and had a big impact, but like Louis for the longest time was the face of powerlifting. When you thought of powerlifting, you thought of Louis, you thought of Westside, you thought of bands and chains and conjugate, and other people were getting really strong doing some other stuff, but like he was powerlifting.
You know, I think before Louis, I think Ed pushed the limits of powerlifting. You know what I mean? I think Ed pushed and showed people what was possible to do.
Like Ed showed that you didn't have to be a giant fat piece of shit to be really strong. Like you could be lean and jacked, still ugly, but jacked and strong.
And I think
I'm
he
glad
put
you
it out
put that
there.
part in there.
He out there.
Yeah.
He figured out you could push the limits further, and then you take Louis with the conjugate training, and then obviously all the multiply gear. And I mean, he definitely changed how people trained, everywhere from individuals to sports teams to even CrossFit. I mean, he was doing CrossFit seminars.
There's one of my favorites. I think it's still saved. It's his talking about speed bench from 13 years ago, where he's doing a seminar and you can see like Castro and Dave Castro in the background and some of the other like originals from CrossFit. And they're hanging out in the back room in this classroom and he's talking with a bunch of the other West Side guys.
Does anybody even talk about that anymore? Like speed day and heavy day? I feel like that's kind of like.
They're still dynamic and max effort, yeah.
I mean, I just feel, but the way it was talked about then doesn't seem like it's the same as.
I mean,
it is
unless
now,
you're
you know what
doing,
I mean?
people don't talk about like whatever, like strength, speed, and power and stuff. They don't talk about it the same way.
Speed is power, so I mean,
I mean,
that's a big part of it. And I don't think people work on that as much as they should.
I think strength is the ultimate equalizer, but I think speed is king.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, because even if no matter what you're doing, if you're doing a sport, say you're doing like jiu-jitsu, if the other person's skill set is just a little bit better than yours, but you're way stronger than them, you will dominate them because they cannot, you know what I mean? They cannot handle you. And that's with a lot of sports. Strength will be the equalizer, but then whoever's faster is going to be better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like if you move a shit ton of weight regularly while you're training, but it's slow, you're not maximizing your potential because you're just like you're getting stronger, but you're being limited because you don't know how to move fast under load.
You need to be explosive.
You have to move fast.
Yeah,
you have to move fast.
I think that's a huge part. And watching those old Louis videos about speed work was like one of the things that I always watched.
Well, I don't think
Yeah.
people understand.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people don't understand like what he was doing. Like, you know, they would do their triples on bench, but his idea was you're going to do 3 reps in the same time for speed work that it takes you to do 1 max effort rep. You know, against tensions because you want to obviously train the strength curve. That was the idea of bands. Same idea with squats. You know what I mean? You're doing those 2 as fast as you would do one
like
single max effort.
If you're a 600-pound bencher and you have 200 pounds plus another 200 pounds in bands or chains, you're putting 600 pounds of effort into it. You're not putting just enough to move that bar, what you think is quickly. You're giving it 600 pounds of effort for all 3 reps. Yeah,
and I think also people run too light of a weight, you know, and then it's not really doing any good. That's like trying to throw a wiffle ball through a window. Like a window, you're never going to do it. You know, forces mass times acceleration.
They used to be kind of like that 50% bar weight and then bands and chains. Then I thought bench they got down as low as like 25 to 30%.
Like 35, 30 or 35%.
So that brings up a tangent. When you guys are hitting your reps, not failing, but your reps are getting super grindy, do you back off?
It depends if it's a speed day or if it's a speed day, you should have no grindy reps.
Well, in max effort day, there shouldn't be grinds going into a single.
But it's still going to slow down. Like optimally, you would hit, your 93 or your 90% plus efforts at, fuck, I can't remember the bar speed.
Well,
What was his?
we should be moving at like 3 feet per second.
Yeah. So he had like that optimal bar speed that if you go slower than that, you're no longer training strength speed. You're training
Speed strength.
Speed strength.
Or no, the other way around.
Other way, yes.
Yeah,
I
because
can't
strength
remember.
is measured in time, not in pounds. You only have so much
Yeah.
time to exert maximal force. Because if you are too slow getting to your mini max / like weak point, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. So like the people that show up and they have like 3 doubles planned or even 3 singles, and that's like their thing. If all 3 of those are grinders, then they're building strength, but they're missing out on getting faster. And so they're just like conditioning to like move slow at this grind, and you're missing out on like optimizing your training potential.
And that was like the whole idea of conjugate. You know, you're training multiple fasts at the same time. You're training maximal strength or absolute strength, whatever you want to call it, speed, and then you're doing your rep work because they had the rep effort days too, which a lot of people kind of forget about.
Hitting all the muscle fiber types.
Yeah. Like I was listening to a podcast that was talking about Olympic lifters and their training, and their training protocol would be different. Like they would have to do, call it 5 singles. They didn't really care about the weight. They knew about what weight they'd be to, but they had to do 5 singles that were under a certain bar speed, but over a minimum. So you're training in this optimal range. If you were over that bar speed, then it's too light, and it's arguably something sub 75%. So it doesn't really matter for strength. But if you go too slow, then you're missing on that speed spark. So if they were training, like they might do 25 singles to get 3 or 5 in that position, and that's how they measured it. So they would actually have sensors and cameras and everything on the bar to measure that speed through the whole motion.
But you know what's crazy is like the Perlipin start, like A.S. Perlipin figured those percentages out like 100 years ago before there was anything. He just used his eyeballs.
Yeah.
You know, because that's that whole thing where they talk about don't train minimally and don't train maximally. You got to train optimally.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're just wasting your time.
Yep. And that's back
but-
to the original part. That's where
yeah.
I think Louis came in to talk about that. Like, don't smash yourself in the ground, which I think Ed kind of led into. Before Ed, you know, I think, and I don't know a ton about the era before Ed, but there were people who got really fucking strong and then they got broken. And Ed got really strong, but he was able to stay strong because he trained optimally and he was smart. And then Louis kind of came around and was like, let's do that, but let's do it a little bit different. Here's all these really smart Russian books. Let's always be at 90% so that, you know, how he always said, like, oh, you want to do a meet? Cool, I'll meet you this weekend.
Yeah,
Like
he was
they
always
were-
at 90% above.
They were always ready for a meet. And so he conditioned that to like, let's do this stuff, add in some pieces so we're not missing out on speed. We're getting faster, we're getting stronger, but we are always peaked.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that Louis brought into powerlifting was the importance of accessories. That was also his biggest contribution. People still do it. They just do their main lifts and then they leave.
Well, and you miss, if you just look at the surface stuff that Louis put out there, they talk about like their speed day, max effort days, and so on. What you don't see, even if you saw their YouTube videos and what they would post on their max effort days, you don't see that they came back that night or the next morning and they did like a 30, 45 minute workout to like finish off their triceps or finish off whatever it is that they were working on. So they had, you know, their 4 main workouts, but then they also had another 4 or 5 like mini workouts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they came back to those. I mean, we've
Right,
talked about
but
that before.
just for accessories.
We talked about they came back before to do their high volume like blood work stuff, which served like multiple purposes. Obviously, joint health, working the muscle, but then also to hopefully prevent blown biceps and tearing triceps because of other supplementations.
Fucking BCAAs.
The spicy BCAAs.
Yes, the branch chain amino acids.
Yeah.
But as far as like great power, top 5, like when I first started watching videos, I mean, Louis was, the West Side videos were something that you ended up seeing later after you watched other people, because there's obviously a lot of other people that are bigger personalities that were powerlifting people at the time that are kind of abrasive. Then you start watching those videos and you're like, man, these guys are kind of awesome. Then you know how YouTube goes down and then they suggest other videos, and the next thing you know, you're watching West Side videos and you're like, man, this stuff's really.
And then you want to go train at West Side, and then you watch West Side versus the World, and you're like, nope, I would
Never
die.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
100%. I would not have made it. I would have been smashed in the ground.
on a regular basis. Probably when I went there that time, it wasn't bad. Like you're kind of motivated to not look like a pussy in front of everybody while you're there.
Yeah.
And then I felt awful after that.
Can you guys
Right.
carry me to my truck, please?
Right.
No,
I think like some of the. So I was more. Probably in my early lifting career was more drawn towards strongman, and like Kazmaier to me was fucking phenomenal because he like started at powerlifting. He had traps that looked like fucking cinder blocks on his shoulders, and he had that like 1,000-yard stare that just made you piddle a little bit every time he looked at you.
I think honestly, for me, it was bodybuilding because I'm a little older, so grew up
Fucking
watching.
Ronnie.
Oh, I'm talking
King.
about Arnold. You know, watching Arnold and Sylvester. You know, when you were a kid watching those movies, and then even like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris wasn't like a bodybuilder, but he was you thought he was like an in shape dude because he was always fighting people, right? And you're like, man, this is awesome. I'm gonna be like Chuck Norris and Sylvester Stallone.
You
and
probably
Arnold
have
Schwarzenegger.
Delta Force on VHS, don't you?
You know, I think my favorite Chuck Norris movie is probably Invasion. There's a couple lines in that movie that are just hilarious.
Were you a
know.
Walker Texas Ranger fan?
I never
Who
watched Walker
wasn't?
Texas.
I
I watched.
mean,
I
Jesus,
did,
it was on
I
every
kinda
channel
Watched
all
it every
day.
once in a while. But in Invasion, I think he said something to the effect of he's in a room interrogating some guy, and some guy walks in. He's like, "You come in this room again, I'm gonna hit you with so many lefts, you're gonna be begging for a ride." You know, that's and Chuck Norris was like a little dude. You know, he's like 5'7", you know, and I'm 5'8", so I'm like, man, this guy's awesome.
I could be Chuck.
I could be just. I mean, you just get a sweet mustache, you know, and some sweet one-liners. I'm in.
You
And,
had some
he was had a
tight
headband
Wranglers.
on too, didn't
Learn
he? Did he
some
have the
karate.
headband on?
But Chuck was like an actual dangerous dude.
He was.
Right?
He
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. He won. I think he won some karate championships in the 70s, maybe late 60s, early 70s, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and he was actually a fighter that started doing movies. But obviously, everyone grew up watching Arnold, and you're like, man, this guy. And then you watch what was that, Pumping Iron?
Yep.
You know, and then you think like, oh, he looks awesome.
Which
but-
Lou Ferrigno totally should have beat him the last time.
If
Dude, Lou
had
Ferrigno
the-
was so big.
If Lou had the personality of Arnold, he would have won.
Yeah, but it wasn't fair. He couldn't hear anybody.
Well, yeah. And Arnold just trash talked the shit out of him until he was defeated.
Yeah.
Arnold was good at talking trash.
He
what was that?
so good.
Oh, look, you already peaked. It's over for you.
Yeah.
You're
He's
done.
he's at the table with Lou and his parents, and he's like, man, you should have probably taken a few more weeks to get ready. But then I would have had a few more weeks, and I would look even better.
Yeah, and he said, "Don't worry." He's like, "I called my mom and told her not to come because I already won."
I don't know if this is true or not, but I think I read a story about when Arnold was doing Predator and Jesse Ventura was in Predator with him, and he knew that Jesse was obviously kind of a abrasive individual himself, and he told the costume people, he's like, "Hey, tell Jesse Ventura that you guys measure my biceps and tell him his biceps are bigger." And then, obviously, they told Jesse Ventura that, and then during the shoot of the movie, he says something to Arnold and then Arnold bet him some money about, well, we'll measure him right now, and then obviously he won. You know, you know what I mean? Because Arnold's biceps are obviously bigger than Jesse Ventura's at the time. But that's just funny to me that he was just always playing jokes, and I that's why Michael Hearn's not really like a power lifter, but I liked Michael Hearn videos because he's very. I mean, he's kind of a jerk and unapologetic. Oh, he's definitely natural, unapologetic about the way he presents himself. You know,
Because he's beautiful.
he doesn't give a shit, and he's going to say what he's going to say, and that's why I liked all of his videos when I was watching back in the day too, because Michael Hearn's super strong. He's like in his 50s, and he looks like he's 35. You know.
Yeah, he's got that cool husky.
Yeah, and that perfect hair. You know.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know who to put as like a top 5.
That's a really good question.
As far
I
as
mean,
you
there's
know.
like people do you like or like actual performers?
Like we talked about earlier, Chuck
Well, if-
Vogelbull was.
If you're going like
obviously
lifters,
a
I
big
mean,
one.
obviously Ed will be number 1.
Are you contractually obligated to put him as number 1?
Nah, it's hard to deny whether you like him or not.
How
I would
can you
put
not like Ed?
I would put Chuck Vogelpohl in there just because what he did in multiply was crazy. I mean, he's one of the first guys at 220 to go over 1,000 in multiply. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, then you got people like Ray Williams, who was squatted at Raw now, and he's still in. I mean, obviously, and you can't leave Banika out of there. If you're talking top 5, Banika's
Right.
obviously, I mean, the greatest like super heavyweight to ever do it for as long as
And
she's done it.
Steffi.
Steffi Cohen had some good numbers in there.
Some great numbers for being 14 ounces.
Yeah.
Not the coolest answer, but Mark Riptos is the one who actually got me like interested in powerlifting.
That is not the coolest answer.
No, it's not.
But it's something. I mean, there's someone. He does.
It was definitely
he
my
does add
starting
value.
place. And then I I learned. I read
Yeah.
some books and things, and
And he learned that not to do what Mark Ripito said. But he does get people in the door, you know?
That
Yes,
is
but doesn't
that is
he
one
also
thing
have
about
some like
him.
gyms where he has like people who
He's got starting
need
strength gyms.
strength? Yeah,
Mm.
and then
Yeah,
they
he
do-
franchises them out.
Yeah.
There's a guy that comes to the gym that's going to open one, I guess.
Isn't there like a class you can go to? It'll be like a starting strength.
yeah,
Coach.
it's
Yeah, coach. Yeah.
we
One of my
we have
clients,
one affiliate in Omaha, I believe.
Yeah.
one of my clients went and she said he was like the hugest asshole ever.
Really?
And I was like, I was not surprised. You're surprised? I was not surprised by that at all when she told me that.
I mean, super nice guy in all of his videos. I'm sure it's real life, just like everything you see on Instagram is real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would imagine one of them, if we're just looking at like influential people, is got to be Mark Bell.
That is true.
Like,
I
whether
used to
you like
watch
him or
a
not.
ton of super training videos.
Like when he
I've said
started
that
off
before.
super fat,
yeah.
doing the super training and coming out with the slingshot, you had to like heavy breathe and take pauses while he got his breath.
Yeah.
I liked him better when he was fat.
I mean, well, and you know, how do you leave Dave Hoff out?
Hmm.
I mean, whether you
Fair.
whether you think his squats are high or not, I mean, the guy has totaled over
Yeah.
3,000 multiple times. I mean, multiply lifter, trained at Westside. I mean, it doesn't matter where he trained, just the fact of what he
I
did.
think the nice thing
Yeah.
about Mark Bella was he's never like a record-breaking power lifter, but he was always about the grind. You know, he was always getting in there,
yeah.
you know, doing. He would get hurt. You know, he had shitty mobility, and he was always trying to get, you know, having Kelly, what's his last
Kelly
Starrett?
Starrett.
Yeah,
Starrett,
Starrett come
yeah.
over and try to help him with his hip mobility so he can get in a position, stuff like. He's always working on it, always working towards his whatever goal he was trying to hit. you
I mean, he
know?
was definitely like influential.
Yes.
As far as influence, as far as a lifter, yeah, he didn't really.
I used to watch Pete Rubish a lot because he was. I don't know if you guys know who
Entertaining.
that is. He was very entertaining.
He's like
when
Huck Finn.
He was like,
Finn fucking cracks me up. Doing 500 in the back of a pickup.
yes.
And then he tore his pec like twice, I think.
Yeah, and he still did it.
He would always talk smack on the Liver King when he would do his little.
Boy, was he
short.
right.
He was right. Yes.
Yeah, if anybody thinks that the Liver King like was natural, you need to reevaluate your life. To think there was like the slightest chance in the world that guy was fucking natural.
I think Mike thought he was natural. Mike's not here to defend himself, but I'm pretty sure Mike thought he was natural.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
Mike was talking because there were all those. Mike's like, oh, I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but Mike talked about how he's like, oh man, I love the Liver King. There's no way that he has ab implants. I wish he was here, but
Wasn't that dude spending like $1,000 on juice a month or something like that?
I don't know how much he was spending. But I saw his stack and it was pretty substantial. So
Jesus. Anybody else got anything on the powerlifters? Who they consider who's done the most? Who's as far as numbers or influential in the sport? I mean, we kind of hit a lot of people.
Stan Efferding was pretty fun to watch too when he was like the greatest. What do you call it?
Strongest
The
bodybuilder.
strongest bodybuilder.
Didn't Johnny Jackson beat him though?
Johnny Jackson, I thought, was the first one.
He was the first one.
Oh.
I think Stan Efferding beat Johnny Jackson's record though. I'm not positive, but I could
I mean,
be wrong.
Stan's a super strong dude.
He is very strong.
And jacked and like 55 and nice.
Yeah, and in most of his training videos, he's wearing an Ed Cohen Classic shirt. So, I mean, I'm not mad about
But
that.
he does never remember Brett's name.
He does not ever remember my name. I've ran into that guy multiple times, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Oh, hey.
Hey, yeah, I think Matt was with me one
Yeah.
time."
And he was like, hey. And you're like, yeah, thanks for the seminar. And he was like, and just
What?
looked super confused. Like,
Yeah, like
Who are you?
dude, this was like 3 weeks ago, man.
I drove you around Omaha and fed you, and you're just like not ringing a bell. I got nothing.
That it's funny. It's funny, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it's super frustrating at the time. You're like, come on, man.
And then he tries to claim he's got some fucking deal where he's like is poor with like facial recognition. Get out of here.
You just don't pay attention.
Yeah,
Neither do I,
you just
but it's
made up a
fine.
disease. Get the fuck out of here.
Just tell me you didn't pay attention, because either did I. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's do another one here. We got feeling intimidated at the gym. How can you feel more confident?
Juice.
Okay.
Apple juice.
Yeah.
Orange juice.
Jeff, what do you got?
Well, my wife is one of those people that's very intimidated at the gym, and nobody cares what you're lifting. You're only out there. It's like golf. You're only out there to beat yourself. I mean, nobody's really paying attention to you, and that's how I kind of feel about it. I mean,
I think if you go like, especially like, I mean, I see why people are probably intimidated when they come to Omaha Barbell to an extent. But once you figure out that as long as you're training for something and doing something and like aren't like an asshole, everybody has respect for you for just showing up and working hard.
I think we talked about it before. Like if people see you putting in the effort, you automatically get respect, and people are like, oh yeah, cool. Like everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're just here to like lose weight, you want to get stronger, you just want to work with a trainer, whatever. Like as long as you're here, like putting in honest effort at any gym, not just here, nobody really cares. And if you feel like they do, or someone actually does say something to you, that person's probably pretty shitty.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, for the most part, though, most people aren't gonna. I mean, if you're intimidated, obviously you're new here. If you're new coming into the gym, someone's gonna be like, "Oh, hey, there's a new person here." That's basically it. That's all someone's gonna say. Like, "Oh, there's somebody new here today."
Oh, a new face. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. So they might look at you a little longer because they've never seen you before, but that doesn't mean they're judging you in any way. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
That's the only thing.
I see it where people, because I'm here a lot.
You are?
Where somebody doesn't know how to use a piece of equipment and they just like keep fucking around with it. And I was like, see, that's where you might think people think you look stupid. But if you just ask someone how to use it,
Right.
Yes.
instead of like fucking around for like 20 minutes and just like walking away, to just ask somebody. Because we have some pieces that are kind of awkward to set up and figure out how to use.
There's some pieces in this gym that I look at. I'm like, I don't even know what.
Well, it's because you don't go to the gym anymore.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah, it's because you quit your membership.
Same. I'm like, what is that? And you're like, man, that's a monolift. It's been here for a while.
Yeah. It's got a lever and stuff. Yeah, it's fancy. All up fancy.
Oh, is that
stuff.
for squatting? Yeah,
Fancy
that's not me.
out.
Yeah, no, I don't
Is
do
there
that.
a leg press over here? Oh yeah, there we go.
Every brand of equipment's got its own way too. So, I mean,
Right.
brand to brand, you don't always know.
Yeah.
And here's a question that you don't ever have to ask when people do. Like, how much does the machine weigh by itself? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You can write down 1,000. It doesn't matter. I don't know what the carriage on the leg press weighs. I don't know what the carriage on the hack squat weighs.
No.
I don't know what the hammer strength pieces weigh by themselves. It doesn't matter. If that's all you can do, whatever, man. If next week you put 5s on there, you got stronger.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, no one cares. It doesn't matter what the leg press fucking weighs. It's never going to be in any kind of competition. It's never going to matter in your training logs. Just write the fucking weight you did, and as long as it goes up. I mean, you can put down 1,000 and be like, man, I was at the gym today, and I leg pressed 5,000 pounds.
Right.
As long as you do 5,005 next week, that's all that really matters.
Right. Yeah, and if you decide to go to the gym, haven't been or whatever, like find some kind of diet plan, any kind of just
If you
general
need to.
health. Yeah,
if you're
you need
trying to lose weight.
Like whatever you're trying to do, lose weight, gain weight, whatever. Like you've got your eating down, and you're like, I got to go to the gym because you've been a runner for a while or something. Like, go to the gym, put in time, and even if people might be judging you on the front end, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 16 weeks from then, you're gonna feel so much better about yourself and so much more confident that you are not gonna care that there's some fat fuck over there who might possibly have given you half a second of thought and like judgment, because you will feel so much better about yourself.
My whole thought process about that is if you come to a new gym and you see some people in here lifting, and you're like, oh, well, I'm new here. I'm going to try to learn the ropes, and do my thing. And then, in 6 months, you're out lifting that dude that might have been judging you when you got here. You know what I mean? That's like how my head works when I come to the gym, and I'm thinking like that type of
the
stuff.
people that walk through the threshold of the door are 100% ahead of the person that didn't.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was like, I tell my
Exactly.
clients all the time, you're doing better than 90% of the people out there
Like
who
you're
aren't doing
here.
anything. Yeah. Here's my tip if you are new to the gym, and if you already do it, I'm not like calling you out. Don't be a fucking stare bear, dude. Like somebody's like squatting heavy or pulling heavy. That's cool. You want to watch them. Don't continually stare at people because that gets weird.
What if they have a great butt or nice calves?
But that's what's going to make people think you're a weirdo if you're new to the
I'm
gym
still
and you
here.
just sit and stare. Well, I know. It's cool. You want to watch
stare at you,
somebody.
Matt?
I mean, because there's some
I'm
impressive.
a calf person. Yeah, it's calves. Yeah.
You like calves?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some impressive lifters. We've always had great lifters
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? Like that's cool. You see somebody squatting, benching, pulling, whatever they're doing, big Olympic lifting. That's great. You want to watch
Once
them?
they rack the weight, stop looking.
Stop
at 'em.
staring. Like that's what people are gonna think you're a fucking weirdo, dude. Don't fucking
Hey,
stare all the time.
What's with this guy in the corner over here?
Yeah, and don't walk around like a fucking lurker. Like like don't like once they go, you watch them, cool, and then just be like, cool, man. Or if you want to be like, hey, man, that was really impressive. You want to go tell them. At least
for
then
an
they'll understand
autograph.
why you're still fucking staring at them.
Yes.
But yeah, don't just be a fucking lurker. That makes everybody uncomfortable. It makes the other new people uncomfortable. Like,
I think that's just good life advice.
yeah, good life advice. Don't be a fucking stare bear. Fucking dog does it to me. It creeps me out. 'Cause I don't know what he's thinking.
Because they're just silent.
He's thinking
and
that he
it's
doesn't
3
like,
a.m.
He's thinking that he doesn't like you. And he
Yeah,
wishes-
most of the time I don't want my dog to be able to talk.
he's like, "Where's mom?"
Dog's
at?"
like, if I had
Get
fucking
away from me.
thumbs,
Oh, dude.
dead.
Yeah. If I could talk right now, I would call so many people right now and tell them bad things about you. You fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I know what's on your internet search history.
Yeah. Jesus. But anybody else got any advice for people on that? Jeff, you look like you're probably intimidated most of the time. What do you think?
Yeah.
I am pretty weak in this little atmosphere we got here. But
No, he does all right, though. He can hold his own.
yeah.
But you know what, though? You just keep showing up. You know what? We make fun of Jeff every day, and he keeps showing up. So, you know, that's all that
Right, yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
Just keep showing up. And, you know, like my football coach in high school, I said, if we're talking about you, we're paying attention to you. If we're not,
Right.
you know what I mean? So more than likely, if someone talks to you or they're talking in a positive way about you, they're, for the most part, or giving you shit, they're paying attention to
Right.
you.
Yes.
If they don't give you shit or don't ever say anything to you, they either don't care at all or you don't impress anybody, which is fine too. You don't have to impress anybody. You're here, like Jeff said, it's you versus you. You're here to work on your own things.
I mean, I
Right.
love Brett, and every time I see him, he's always got something smart to say. So. that's
Oh,
part
about
of
how
it.
you quit the gym?
Like smart ass, not like smart
Like today, I
intelligent.
forgot my fancy ring, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm
This one?
completely, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
or
the
mine,
one.
yeah.
Does it
Yeah,
look
no.
like that? Or does it
Yeah.
look like that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
And
Yeah, we have podcast rings, and he's got one. I don't know why at this point.
Right?
Let's see what else we got here on
it's
this.
my safe baby.
And someone would
It's
ever
in the
open a
safe?
supplement store.
Yeah, of course.
It's
it
not
is.
in a fucking safe. You're lying.
It's got to be in the middle console. That way you
I'm
can get
scared
it when
someone's
you need.
gonna bust the window out and steal my.
They won't.
You never know.
Anyway,
They won't.
would we ever open a supplement store at the gym? I know with a, I have an idea of what they're thinking, but maybe not. But we weren't going to talk about what they're thinking.
No. There's too much emphasis put on supplements. Like they are that. They are a supplement. They are the very, very top tip of your training program.
I mean,
So
the
you're
only
not,
thing you
you're not
need-
going to open a supplement store?
No.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
do one for me,
Yeah.
but
and just
yeah.
sell creatine.
Yeah.
Spicy
Yeah.
BCAs
Yeah.
I mean, there's
out
a,
of my trunk.
there's a limited number of over-the-counter supplements that will help and actually do something.
And creatine's probably the one.
Creatine's one of them. Like your whey protein powder, that can be one of them. Some debate on like whether or not a multivitamin and stuff. That if you go the route of
I
like,
take a multivitamin.
Stan Efferdine. So if you go the route and you like really structure your diet, for the most part, you should be able to get almost everything.
Who
like
really
vitamin
does?
D.
Let's be honest with yourself. Tom.
Unless it
Who
comes
really
in a
does
12-ounce can, I'm probably not getting my
exactly.
full nutrients.
Nobody really does that.
Right,
Unless
so
you're
that's
like
what I'm saying. Like, so
unless
that
you're
one
like
can
a
do it.
professional athlete.
Right, that one
Yeah.
can do it. But when you start to get out there, like if anyone's taking a test booster from Vitamin Shop,
Probably not
stop.
working.
Negative.
It's not doing anything.
It's all fake.
The there was a couple supplements that came out that were supposed to bump your test levels quite a bit. I can't remember what they're called.
Good.
Anyways, you can
The
look
only
it up.
the only two I know that are clinically proven that I can think of is like creatine and protein. I mean,
Yeah, those two have shit.
and,
Uh,
and
and-
creatine has such a minimal effect, anyways. Too.
And you can get similar effect from that you
Red
get
meat.
from creatine from. You can get actual creatine from red meat. Now you have to eat a bunch of red meat to do it.
Which
You
I
can
do.
get from potassium and sodium. You get a very similar reaction. You're missing out on some of like the raw ATP. I think it's ATP that comes in creatine. But if you're looking to just drive water and nutrients into your blood or into your muscle cells, potassium and sodium will do it. Like you can look
Like
at
the
standard-
thermotabs.
like thermotabs.
If you haven't taken thermotabs, they're worth a try.
Thermotabs are great. That's one that
Amazon has them.
that I do, largely because unless you're eating like 7 or 8 meals to spread out all that sodium and potassium, like it's tough.
You
to
remember that
get.
time we ate a tablespoon of sugar when we were at breakfast that time? Or
A
a tablespoon of salt, I mean.
Yeah,
That was the worst thing ever. My
I was
throat
actually
burned
like,
for so
it
long.
felt bad, but I was like, oh, this isn't really all that bad.
No,
Which
well,
I
yeah.
probably thought was bad.
that sounds terrible.
But will
It
we
does
open a
sound
supplement store?
terrible.
I don't have any desire to, but I think we will carry more supplements. It's our plan.
Yeah.
But more of the things like he's talking about.
Like you go
the protein, BCAAs, creatine. We'll probably have some pre-workouts because just people like the stimulant idea of it. I don't have a real stimulant effect because I've drank those all, so they don't even work anymore with Reigns and Monsters. But obviously people like pre-workouts. But yeah, we're going to carry some. We're going to start carrying more things, but it'll still be just in that same line of
Yeah.
things. We're probably not going to have test boosters. We're not going to have stuff like that. We'll just have your basics, protein, creatine.
Yeah.
Glutamine actually has a pretty good track record of recovery. I've had some people I've trained that were like runners and stuff like that, and glutamine actually helped them out. But here's the thing, glutamine and creatine are so cheap, they're worth trying. Even if you get like a 5% effect out of it,
Yeah,
they're
and if
worth
you're-
it because
if
they're
you're
so cheap.
getting the creatine, get the creatine monohydrate, like the 55-gallon bag of
Just
the
a scoop,
white
you know what I
powder,
mean?
and do that. You don't have to preload. You don't have to do like 17 scoops a
Five
day.
Like we
grams-
used
5
to.
grams a day.
Dude,
Right.
like we used to back in the day.
Right?
5 grams
And
a
you
day.
like
Man.
forget for a week, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta do it all over again." Yeah, you can just start taking it. Do your 5 grams, whatever your scooper is. Get the monohydrate. You don't need all the fancy shit. Although the Nitrotech stuff does taste really good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing for you older folks out there, though. If you get your blood work done, it's going to look like your kidneys are failing you if you have a high-protein diet and you're taking creatine. So you want to
Yeah.
make sure you get your kidney function checked
Yeah,
like
that's
at
the
a
thing too, you know
different
what?
level. Well, if the main
That's
the
why
main
you have two
blood,
of 'em.
The main blood work for your kidney function, when they test it, it'll show that you're like, I think it's called urea or something's high if you're taking creatine and you have a high protein diet. But if you actually have a more substantial blood test done to actually check your kidney flow, most likely it's just because you're taking creatine and your protein's high.
Or you just don't get blood work done.
Well, and that Chris had an interesting point though. If you're probably 35 and above, and you train consistently and you're supplementing whatever, it's a great idea to get your blood work done in general once
I get
a year.
mine done
once
every year.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You can get your cholesterol checked, your
I'm an old
glucose, your A1C. If you want to get your test levels checked, I mean hormones in general, females, males, whatever. I mean it's not a bad idea, and it's not, if your insurance doesn't cover it, it's not like crazy expensive to get your blood work done. Actually, Merrick Health sponsored the Ed Cohen Classic, and you can go through them, and they'll do full blood
Yeah.
panels. I think for like a couple $100.
Yeah, I
They'll
was
give
gonna
you a
say, if
full
you're-
blood panel.
if
at
you're like
Merrick
a
Health.
serious competitor taking over-the-counter stuff and eating and pushing and doing that, blood work probably 4 times a year is what you want to do. If you go a year route, like think about all the things for the 6 weeks that led up to when you got your blood drawn in, call it 23, and then you go into 24 to get your blood drawn. Were those 6 weeks before your blood draw the same? Like, are you in the same prep? Are you in the same diet, same stress level, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, and if you're taking non-over-the-counter things,
Even more important.
even more important to watch your blood work, male and female both. But as far as like basic supplements, and even like we're talking about multivitamins, I mean, your liver stores like, what is it, like 2 weeks of vitamins or something like that? Your liver can store like, I mean, it stores like a crazy amount.
I don't know those
It
numbers.
can hold a ton of shit.
So
It'll
like if
hold
you miss
bunch
a day on your multivitamin, you're fine.
right.
Like don't be like, oh my
It's
god,
like,
I missed a
"Oh,
day.
Fuck, I got to front load and take 7 packs.
Yeah, like your liver will store like I can't remember what it is.
Right.
It's a good amount though that your liver
It's-
stores
yeah,
that you're not gonna like. Oh, there goes my progress.
yeah.
You know, and a multivitamin, like I said, some people don't like the gummy ones. I take gummy ones like a child.
'Cause they're fucking good. And they're
But
like a
here's the
dessert.
thing: is like I was talking to a friend of mine that's owns a nutrition store, and he said it. I said, you know what though, it's better than fucking nothing, and that's what you got to look at. It's just like if you come to the gym and only walk on the treadmill, it's still fucking better than nothing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so even if you're taking the gummy multivitamin, Jesus, I struggled there. It's still better than nothing. You're still doing something and bringing a nutritional value to your body
Yeah.
that it didn't have before.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's that too. But supplements, like I said, it's all, I'm not a big pusher of them. Like when people ask like my recommendations, because everybody's so different on how they respond. Like, especially like stimulants. I do not, if you want a pre-workout, that is up to you. Because stimulants are different. Like I can drink a Monster and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Other people, they smell a Monster and they're like, well, I can't, you know, I know I've had clients, I can't drink coffee after 3 o'clock or I can't fall asleep. You know what I mean? So maybe you probably shouldn't take 300 milligrams of caffeine and like 1,000 mgs of B12 or something. You know what I mean? So know what your body is into before
Right.
you're like, my friend gave me this pre-workout and I passed out.
So I've done that. I think I talked about that here.
Yeah. So on that line, like I said, we're going to carry some more stuff. We're going to carry basic stuff, but for recommendations, don't just jump into some like stupid shit. Go to someone. If you go to a supplement store, they're probably gonna try to sell you. If they're dirtbags, they're gonna try to sell you a bunch of shit. Go to someone that's gonna be honest with you, but you need to be honest with them too. Like, hey, I want a pre-workout, and they're like, how are you with stimulants? You're like, oh, I'm fine, when you're not, because that is not on them. That's on you.
Right.
Well, be your own advocate too. I mean, Google exists. Research the stuff.
Check multiple things. Don't just find one site that does a review and then like you look like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like with anything else, do your own research. I mean,
But some of them that are overlooked are like magnesium is one that's not super sexy and people overlook.
Yeah.
Vitamin D is another one.
Calcium for the ladies,
Calcium for the ladies.
especially if you don't drink milk.
Yep.
A lot of people think they're lactose intolerant when they're not. They just don't drink enough milk because as we get older, we don't drink as much milk, so we become somewhat lactose intolerant. But you can actually backtrack that if you start slowly bringing milk back in.
Yeah. Or you can just go straight raw milk. There's a place in Bennington and a place in Ralston.
Or wherever you might
raw milk
live of the
from.
dozens of people here that listen.
True. You should drive to Bennington or Ralston to get it.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I think people think that they are
Right.
allergic to or intolerant of, and it's because they don't.
Yeah.
John Hansen, multi-time world champion in jiu-jitsu, for the longest time told me he was gluten intolerant. I was like, you're fucking lying to yourself. I was like, you are not. I was like, start small dosing yourself. He didn't have celiacs.
Yeah.
That's different.
That's like instant shit your
He
pants.
started small dosing himself, and the next thing you know, weird, he can eat gluten again. But I think when people take things out of their diet, which that's the other thing too, when Matt was talking about, if you get on a diet plan, if someone tells you to do like, oh, you eat no fat or no carbs, that's not a real diet. You're just malnutritioning yourself by moving those calories out.
Oh, I fast. No, you just skipped 2 meals.
You skipped your food, and that's where you become intolerant of things like, I don't eat any gluten. Why?
Right.
Gluten does not mean it's bad for you.
There's some, but like you can still like have a negative side effect to eating some foods, right? Like
Sure. I could eat the same thing 10 times, and the 11th time I'm going to shit my pants.
well, like if I eat sandwiches, like if I eat bread.
Oh yeah,
for
you
my
can eat
carbs-
yourself out of things.
Yeah, like if I eat carbs, like not carbs, but if I eat bread for the majority of my carbs for a couple days, I just ass piss for like 2 days. But if I have a couple slices, okay, like I get a little bloaty, but it's good and stuff. But it's not like, oh my God, I can't have any kind of gluten. It's just like in some moderation.
Hey, your body
it's
holds
fine.
on to some of
Yeah.
that stuff for a while, and it starts to build up. I mean, I get the same thing with I eat like super fatty foods and a lot of them. Like if I eat a lot of like Wagyu stuff, like when I made a brisket this past weekend, and there's some great pictures on our Instagram page. It looks great.
It
But-
does look great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I eat it for like first world problems. I ate Wagyu brisket for like 5 days straight, and after a while, you're just like, ah, man, I just want like
That might
some
have been,
Jimmy
like,
John's or something.
the most privileged statement ever.
Yeah. But and that's like what Matt said, you eat the same thing constantly. Like, hey, like shout out to my dog who eats the same
Right.
thing every single day.
Yeah.
But,
But there's some stuff that you can, right? Like you can do rice and hamburger meat. Like
That's
you could
what I
do
eat.
that
I mean,
day in, day out forever because it's super GI low, like easy on the GI. It's like the same stuff you get to dogs when they get an upset stomach and they start puking and shitting. You give them hamburger meat and rice.
well, and some people forget you eat that same thing. Like Chris said, eats that same thing every day.
I do eat the same thing every day.
You know, on the barbecue scene, like we talk about the barbecue stuff, get outside of just going to Hy-Vee or Walmart. There's a million seasonings out there
Yes.
that are, gluten-free if you're looking for that, whatever. But you can change the flavor of everything with a little bit of seasoning. Eating hamburger and rice every day, yeah, plain, whatever. But there's like a million seasonings. You can completely change the flavor, you know what I mean, and have something new every day. And if you don't like rice, Triscuits are pretty fucking close to the same macros as rice.
So are Cinnabons.
Close, yes, but very different.
Yeah. Different color, but otherwise same.
But yeah, do your research on any of that stuff. Your diet stuff, like your supposed intolerances or your whatevers, and your tolerances of even like stimulants. And maybe if you're really thinking about getting into it in your mid 30s or later, we talked about your blood work. See where that's all at before you get into stuff. Especially like most of us at this table, probably started doing 300 mgs of caffeine when we were like 17 years old. Like our body is a little different.
Oh, and I got screwed up with Jack 3D. Remember that stuff?
Oh yeah, and then it gave everybody hepatitis. Did you get the hepatitis from it? Did you tell your wife yet?
I don't get my blood work 4 times a year.
Well, there you go. So you probably got the hepatitis. But get yourself if you're getting into it later in life, and that's great. There's never an age limit. But get your blood work done and just see, because like if you have pre-hypertensive or you have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, that's going to change some things that you should or shouldn't be taking. Like you don't need to take a bunch of stimulants. And maybe like Chris said, like a high protein diet or some of that creatine, if your kidneys don't function right, that's not going to help your kidneys. If you pee and it's like a yellowish red color, that's not okay.
So what supplements are you going to carry behind the counter?
Are you talking like to sell like
on the shelf?
Oh, I
that
was
people
like,
can
what?
see.
I think we're
Not
doing
the
just like your whey protein.
What flavors?
Well, we have vanilla and chocolate right now, but they do make a blueberry. We carry Max Pro, so we deal with Elite Nutrition out of they're out in West Omaha. They're kind of our supplier, but they have like a blueberry. They have a latte one that are all pretty, and it's the Max Muscle brand. I think they're the exclusive dealer in this Omaha. I think Bellevue's got somebody else. Probably the BCAAs, maybe some EAAs. They're pre-workout, creatine, maybe a little bit of glutamine. And I think they have a multi. I think that kind of covers most bases. If you want something weird, you can go to their store, or you can order online from, I think it's just elitenutrition.com.
I used to take the Animal Stack multivitamins.
Dude, if you could
Those are
swallow
fucking
an animal
funny.
pack all at one time and not fucking die, you're a hero. And
Pea
I
and
can
neon
do-
green.
Oh yeah, it's like Chemlight.
Yeah,
The funny thing
it
is, like,
was.
if I brush my teeth, as soon as it gets past my front, I'm like, oh. But I can do the animal pack, their flex. So
No way at the same time.
At the same time.
No fucking
I
way.
swear to God.
I don't believe you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
I
see
could
it.
do the whole animal pack.
Yeah.
for
The
sure.
animal pack, but
No
Yeah.
problem.
one time I got one lodged in my heart, and I thought it was
If
going to
they
be
get
over.
stuck, it's
I
done.
thought it was over.
Like some of the animal pack
He
pills will
drinks more
turn
water.
sideways and get stuck in the bridge. And you're like, oh.
Mine got stuck in my throat, and I guess that was just like a timed release at that point.
No, if I just have a little bit of water, then it's a time release pill.
Yeah.
But yeah, like those don't bother me. But yeah, I brush my teeth, and as soon as I start brushing my tongue, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think Animal Pack has like 10 times the amount of vitamin you actually need.
Yeah, you're just pissing out half the stuff that's in that probably.
Yeah, because it's like
Yeah.
neon yellow when you pee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I know I'm alive.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, if you get into the thermotabs, also be careful with those
Yes.
because those can fuck you up if you take too many. If you take too many thermotabs, you are going to shit instantly
Yeah. Like, and you have to.
because it's
Like,
sodium. It's
be
like basically
doing
straight
something.
sodium. Like,
Yeah.
only do it if you're going to be like, if it's like super hot and you're going to be like mowing your yard or something like that because. Electrolyte drinks are mostly watered down for the most part. Like
Yeah.
a Gatorade, a Powerade, all that stuff is so watered down, you're not really pulling
Yeah.
the electrolytes that a thermotab will give
Yeah.
you. But if you're going to take a thermotab and just like sit at home, probably not a great idea.
Yeah, completely anecdotal. But if you do like a thermotab with each meal, that should give you a good dose of sodium and potassium to kind of keep everything normal. And then before you're going to go train, maybe you could do 2 or 3.
I used to chew them up for faster absorption and then swallow them, and it's pretty terrible.
It's rough. Yeah.
Yeah. But they are pretty solid. If you're working out, if you start to feel lightheaded during workouts, thermotabs will help out with that too. But like I said, I think I would take like 2 before I worked out. I think that's kind of the standard with it. If you're a smaller male or female, maybe just start with 1. But if you take like 4, you will shit your life away instantly. That's real life stuff.
So you're going to carry thermotabs then too?
Why
I don't
not?
know. You can just buy those on Amazon though. They're not very expensive if you go on Amazon. There's usually like a 2-pack of them, I think, isn't there?
You get like a 4-pack for like $10 or something.
Yeah, those are pretty good, especially like if you're like a max effort day, or you're gonna do like if you're, like Memorial Day is coming up. Actually, this will release after Memorial Day, but like a bunch of people do the Murph. That'd be a perfect time to take
Yep.
the thermotabs. Just it helps with hydration and just what do I want to say, like longevity in the
Right.
workout.
And I will say though, if you
Endurance. There
if
we
you
go.
start introducing thermotabs and really like any of these supplements into your diet, like your physiology is gonna change. Not your physiology, but like mostly looking at like water retention and weight gain. So like if you're someone who's looking at the scale, and especially if you start taking thermotabs, that sodium and potassium is gonna hold on to more water. So you're gonna feel fluffier. Your body weight's gonna go up a little bit, but your body will kind of regulate that once it's like, oh shit, I have this normally. This
maybe
is
like a
part
week
of
or
me.
so, you'll
Yeah.
start to. Same thing with creatine. If you start taking
Yeah,
creatine
same
monohydrate, you're
thing,
probably going to hold
creatine.
water.
Yeah, you're gonna feel puffier. You're probably gonna look a little puffier, and you're gonna be thirsty as fuck.
But eventually,
It'll even itself
You'll
out.
be
yes.
jacked.
Yeah.
And with any supplement, take your time. We used to take like some time off from the supplement to get the most out of it.
Shut your mouth.
If you're going to take creatine, maybe take your 12-week training cycle and then come off of it for, a week or 2. That's with a lot of supplements over and under the counter. Take time off, like from supplements.
Shut
Let your
mouth.
body recover back to its normal, because your body will stop making things.
Well,
And
I feel like people forget to ask themselves, why am I taking this in the first place, too? Like,
yeah, I mean, if you're like,
everyone's taking pre-workouts, I'm going to take pre-workout.
Like,
But
do
what?
you
But
need
why?
it?
Yeah,
Right.
why?
yeah, it's like a big social thing. But yeah, if you're just gonna go to the gym and like fucking half-ass it, and walk around and talk to people and like not really do much, Matt,
I was like,
just
looking at you the whole
so I just need to stop taking everything.
But no, I mean, yeah, if you're really just fucking around, don't waste your money. I mean, if you're gonna put like, if you have a meet coming up or a CrossFit competition or you're training for a marathon, something like that, that's completely different because you want to supplement. You want your body to recover to its peak that you can to supplement anything in you can to help it out because it will work as hard as it can, but you got to give it the right shit to do it. And 99% of the people out here aren't running like a diet that's going to cover all your nutritional values that you need.
True.
You know what I mean? So, but other than that, I think we gave some good information out there. Hopefully. We did talk about shit in our pants a little bit, so that fit right in there.
Yep.
I mean, you always got to throw that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems
You
like
guys
the main
Stayed
theme.
on point.
You guys got any good points out there? Anything we haven't covered? Anything good? All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys for listening. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, whatever you're using it. And set us for auto download. Give us some reviews if you like us. If you don't, still tell people you don't like us because maybe they'll listen to us. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Any pub is pub.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.